Hey guys, your humble host or Kayla here. So real quick, I want to bring to your attention a bill that's going on in the state of California. It's called the Assembly Bill 2943, and its aim is to make unfair competition of certain services illegal, the sale of certain services illegal, or material that aims at converting homosexual people, bisexual people, trans people, um, that seeks to convert sexual orientation or sexual identity. So there's a lot of hysteria around this bill already. I will put a link in the description to the actual bill as you can find it online. I have gone through the bill, read it. I'm still trying to understand the full wording of it. A lot of it is broad, and I've talked to maybe one or two people about their thoughts and opinions on it. From what I understand, is the bill is trying to get rid of fraudulent services and not. If you look at the wording of the bill, it states that homosexuality was declassified as a mental illness, meaning it's no longer in the book of mental illnesses. It got taken out. And so they are trying to render any service that works to convert a homosexual person or bisexual or transsexual person, any service that I from the wording, this is my understanding from the wording, that classifies it as a mental illness and works to deconvert or convert those people into hetero. This is what this bill, from my understanding, is working on, to make unlawful, illegal. You can't do it anymore in the state of California. But the language is rather broad because I know there's different types of therapy, conversion therapy. Um, a big thing that's known about conversion therapy is electroshock, but from what I read, that's not the only thing that entails when it comes to conversion therapy. From what someone has voiced to me, and this is their understanding of it, with conversion therapy, it can put a guilt trip on the person for having those feelings, and when those feelings come back up, the person feels guilty and feelings die down, which, number one, no, you don't ever instill a guilt trip on someone. It's one thing to feel guilty over something, but to purposely instill that into somebody, no, that's wrong. Um, and with the shock therapy, it's supposed to create, I guess, a fear effect that when the person has those feelings, they remember that shock and the feelings suddenly die down. I also read about that particular conversion therapy that it's supposed to reassemble the brain cell. Something, I read this a while back when Mike Pence was the governor over Indiana and his bill going around, which that was 2 to 3 years ago. So, to be fair, I don't know all that much about the therapy that people go through to get converted into heteronormative. I know myself, just from my understanding when it comes to manners like that, you have to go delving into the problems. You have to go to the source. When did this person start feeling this way? Why did this person start feeling this way? What are this person's struggles? So you have to go into it, but the person has to be willing to do that. They have to be willing to change. You cannot force them. Now, I know something too that this bill aims to protect is the children. Now, I know there's a lot of fighting about trans kids. I myself don't agree that any child should be put on any type of hormone blocker or hormones at the age of 9 or 10. I think that is utterly ridiculous as kids have no idea what they are doing. They don't even understand the concept of sexuality. They are just expressing themselves. I've had little nephews pretend to be pregnant women or play with Barbie dolls or do dress up. They were just little kids playing, and I know that there's both sides of that spectrum when it comes to parents going, oh, hey, my kid is expressing this, so therefore they should transition. We need to start them on hormones, blah, 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 blah. And then you have the other side of the spectrum going, oh my god, my kid is expressing this. They're gay. Let's do this. So the parents in the middle understand that it's a kid expressing themselves and just playing and exploring their world. I do know that there has been a lot of stuff instilled into the schools just in the United States that's trying to condition kids a certain way about sexual orientation, sexual identity. You have the gender neutral unicorn, which has been made a thing in Washington State and a few others. This was back in June, I want to say 2015. So I know that you have that going around. And with this bill, I'm actually a little bit worried myself just because of the way that California has behaved over the past year. They just with the laws they've passed is utterly ridiculous. They have put an illegal in office. They have put cancer labels on coffee, made offering a straw to a customer illegal. They have done some other stuff. I know with the HIV, they made it a misdemeanor instead of a felony for knowingly infecting someone else with HIV. So these are just examples of the batshit stuff that California has gone out of their way to do, on top of something else I came across of. This is how nutty this state has become. They're having their own police force turn against them. I can't remember which sheriff it was, but they had a sheriff come out go and say, hey, you know what, screw you guys. California, I don't care if you are a sanctuary city or not, sanctuary state, what have you. We're going to work with ICE. We're going to obey the federal officials. The hell with you. So when you have your own police force turning on you, that's not a good thing. It just, like I said, California is just crazy. They've been crazy for the past year or two. So this bill has me worried because I know a lot of people might come out of the boardwalk to twist it and get particular stuff banned. Just from a couple articles I've seen, there is an emphasis, a push to normalize, oh, it's okay to feel trans and bi and homosexual and things like that. Now, I'm not saying if you are that way, that is your choice. That is what you believe you are. Don't agree with it, don't condone it, but you are your own person. I'm just trying to make a point here. But there is an emphasis to push this onto people who believe otherwise, oh, it's natural, it's normal, and it's just like, okay. So there's two different perspectives going on with this bill already. I'm sitting here on the fence going, well, I'm kind of worried about this. I can see the point over here because there are fraudulent services out there, and there have been in the past, shocking their brain and trying to hypnotize people, which hypnotism is still used in counseling, just from the stuff that I read. Guilt tripping, those aren't good counseling techniques. Those really aren't. Obviously, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a medical authority, none of that. But I've been through counseling, and no, and I can tell you just no, you don't do that with people. So yes, fraudulent services do need to go. Services that actually harm do need to go. But at the same time, seeing as California, I'm worried that this bill is going to be used to try to squelch freedom of religion. Now, something else that someone else has pointed out to me too, and I'm going to end the video after bringing up this point, is that because more and more, I'm not for Islam now, but seeing how there has been a protection of, and still the United States, of Muslims and them expressing their faith, if the Bible gets banned because of this bill, so does the Torah. Now, I do know that there has been in the past year, 1 to 2, maybe 3 years, you do have moderate Muslims coming out and saying that the Quran never talked out against homosexuality, when indeed it has, and it still has, and there's all sorts of verses in there, and them literally in countries that are run by Islam and Islamic leaders, where they literally take anybody who's homosexual, bi, and whatnot, and toss them off the roof. I mean, you've heard about people who fully transitioned over there being killed. There was a guy, and his partner, they got married. The partner was trans, murdered. That partner got murdered in cold blood by their own father. So, yeah. So that's another good point that was pointed out to me is the Bible gets banned, so does the Quran, and that is going to create a big, big shitstorm. So, for those of you who are keeping an eye on it, keep that in mind, that if the Muslims are not up in arms, try not to let the hysteria get to you. Keep an open eye. I'd recommend everybody keep an eye on this bill. In a way, I can kind of see this backfiring a little bit, but I don't know. But those are just my thoughts on the matter. Once again, link in the description below for a full reading of the bill for yourselves. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys later.